Action.
Welcome to the podcast.
Got my jank microphone here.
So yesterday we had a pretty awesome experience after one of our weekly meetings with, I guess, this community we're building, which I think is Interaction. We explored the metaverse and we went in with our friend Josh, and it was so insightful just to be able to walk around. It felt like I was playing Minecraft, with my cousins back in the day, and just being embodied in that space. It really allowed us, I think, to get insights and a glimpse into the future of business and the future of I think human connection. And so before we kind of delve into anything, what are your thoughts? What do you have to say as kind of a little introduction or overview of like what we want to talk about?
Yeah, totally. I think we want to focus primarily on like the metaverse, blockchain. We want to focus on NFTs, stuff like that, and how it relates to business in the future and community and brand building in the future. I think what we're seeing is, and I've heard Eric Pulier talk about this, who's the owner of, creator, CEO of Atom, which is a company that's basically focusing on the enterprise metaverse. And what we're seeing is people, places, and things coming together. So, with the wallet, you're going to be able to have you're going to have your own identity within the internet. Like right now, the internet is kind of clunky because your identity differs from platform to platform to platform. So what Vadim is focusing on is like, besides 3D spaces and NFTs, is like this idea of the universal wallet and interoperability. So you can go between different sites, different metaverses, and keep your sense of identity. So people, places, and things are converging. People, who you are, your identity, things like NFTs, digital items, and then your actual ownership over those things. So using the wallet, you can keep basically track of all of the things that you acquire on the internet. And that's kind of something that we don't see on this like second layer of the internet, is people, places, things, and Web3 metaverse is going to unlock that. So I'm going to be able to express myself in a certain way because I have certain digital products that I store in my digital wallet, and I get to express myself uniquely in the metaverse. And that's what we're seeing.
We're on the cusp of a radical revolution, a sort of Cambrian explosion in terms of business, in terms of diversification of human expression. And I think that we're just gonna go further into the internet. The internet transformed us, and we're only just beginning.
Yeah.
So how do you see these technologies like metaverse, artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, transforming business in specific, and how businesses connect with their audiences,
Totally.
how they sell their products? Yeah, what comes up for
Yeah,
that?
well, first thing that comes up is like being able to embody yourself within someone's domain or someone's store. Like, right, before the internet, you used to walk into a store and you were in someone's domain. Whether it was a shoe store, you would see the shoes and physically be in that space. And then the internet came along, and now you enter someone's web page, which is like a very early version of a metaverse. Like, you walk into someone's website and it's their domain, they built it, they have their own expression. What we're seeing with metaverse is being able to walk into these web pages. Rather than just being able to access them via phone, we're going to actually embody within these spaces. So I think that the nature of the internet is changing. You're not going to be able to be inside of these places. And then what else did you have to the question? You had another thing that.
Yeah, like how are businesses going to interact with their
Oh, yes.
audiences
Yeah.
and sell their
Totally.
products?
Yeah, there's this idea of I'm not it's like giving value in order to get attention from a customer. Right now what we're seeing is a very like kind of parasitic way of getting a consumer's attention, right? Our consumer data is sold to advertisers, and then these advertisers then advertise through us because they know our data through the use of cookies. But now through the use of NFTs, as well as this 3D space that I can go into and be inside of your web page and see all your products, there is this idea of the NFT where I can gift you something as a business owner for entering my store. I'm going to give you this digital item, which then you can now store in your wallet, and it is now yours. It is a unique digital item that is yours. And what this allows is a direct line of communication between myself and the consumer. I no longer have to go and try and, run ads to get your attention. I can just because I've already given you something on the back of that NFT, I can deliver messages. And it's a more like, I don't want to use the word holistic, but it's a more,
Synergistic.
yeah, synergistic. I'm giving you value in exchange for your attention. And I think that's what we're moving towards is giving value rather than just taking. That's what it's unlocking.
For those of you who don't know and have not played around with the metaverse, this is a buzzword floating around, but the metaverse is already here. It's just very primitive, right? Zoom calls are the metaverse, right? They are a portal into the virtual dimension. Now, just imagine instead of being in breakout rooms to interact with your team, you are able to walk around the space and just walk up to somebody and start speaking to them. This is what the metaverse allows. It's just the evolution of the internet, the evolution of civilization and society. And, we've had about three forms of content right now. We have short form content, which has kind of taken the world by storm in the past 4 years. We have medium form content, and then we have like long form content, right? YouTube videos and podcasts and newsletters. You get paid in proportion to the amount of time and attention that people spend on your content, right? And the more time people spend, like you get AdSense, and you also have a greater chance to like promote your products. The next evolution of that is virtual spaces. Okay, there's short form content, medium form, long form, and then, my friend, there is total immersion in the space of the creator, right? That's so much more valuable. Having 100 people who are walking around fully embodied and immersed in your virtual space, interacting with your NFTs, interacting with your offers, interacting with your products and services is so much more valuable than having 100 than having, I would say, 10,000 followers, right? 100 people in your virtual world is more valuable than 10,000, even 100,000 followers.
Yeah. I think humans are very emotional. And for example, if you go to a concert, you connect with the people there and you take away memories and perhaps you keep the ticket stub and it becomes this experience in your mind. And that's what the metaverse is going to allow. And I said earlier, people, places, things. People, us, with our digital wallets, things through the use of NFTs and digital items, and then places, actual 3D spaces, are going to allow for the same kind of experience inside the digital space. You can go to an online concert that is purely in the digital realm and take home the ticket stub because it's going to be stored in your wallet. And it's going to form a unique memory and a unique connection within you, very similar to how you have a unique experience in the physical world. And you might be saying, well, yeah, but it's the digital space. Like, it can't. Just yesterday, we were exploring one of the Vadim spaces that I think it's like their developers space that you have to kind of dig to get to, but we found it. And we were in there,
Nobody in
and
there.
yeah, it was wild. And we were exploring it, and it was a server, so all of us were in there. And I walked into like the dance club, and it truly does have this experience where I felt like I was in the dance club, and I was like, whoa. Walking in, getting closer to the stage, the music is increasing as I get closer to the stage. It was just really intense, and it just goes to show how easy we can trick our brains into really having that experience and embodying ourselves. So I think that this evolution of the internet is going to be much more real. We're going to be able to walk through it. It's pretty
Yeah,
awesome.
absolutely. And this is very primitive to start, right? Like if you were to see it right now, it looks very like a video game. But the first podcast in the metaverse between Lex Friedman and Zuckerberg just took place, and they scan their faces, and it looks so photorealistic. Like what happens when we have really good 4K VR, and don't even get me started on brain computer interface and Neuralink. This becomes a new reality, and we're totally immersed. So I want to ask you, you know, how do you envision interaction in our business, our company, kind of like the entertainment side? You mentioned DJs, you mentioned, having like these events and entertainment. Um, I'm curious, like, how do you envision our community developing and like giving a platform for people to come and like connect with other human
Totally.
beings?
Yeah, I think every brand is going to have a unique expression in the metaverse. Like they're going to have different spaces. Like if you're like a shoe brand, well, you're probably just going to have a storefront with like, you know, shoes and like an NFT gallery with shoes. But we're more, our company name is Interaction, and we really focus on deep, genuine social interaction. So I think it's going to be a lot of like, you know, campfire settings, sitting around, talking, discussions, um, seeing experiences together. So what the metaverse is going to allow is like to curate an experience and have these like portals to different. So for example, if I want to show them a video, I can transport everyone within my space to another space where it's a theater and we're going to see this video. And then once we're done watching the video as a group, we're going to go back into the campfire setting to process what we just experienced. So it's just a lot of things that allow us to talk. So it's going to be a lot of discussion. I also see a lot of like, you know, event spaces. I really want to see, like you said, DJs and concerts and entertainment. So just allow people to, you know, be open. But that's, I think there's like a twofold. There's two ways we're going about this. We're doing this for ourselves because we love, you know, social interaction and giving people a space to form bonds with one another. But it's also going to serve as an example of what can be done within the metaverse and hopefully serve as a good example for potential companies or brands who want to go into the metaverse. And that way you can have a roadmap as far as like what a general NFT metaverse structure looks like, so that when you go and build your own, or if you want us to help you do that, you know, we have a track record of what we've built in the past. So it's two-way street. We're doing it for the love of it because we want to build in the metaverse. I'm passionate about Web3, but I'm also doing it for also potentially landing clients because we've built a track record.
Yeah, Macro Man, or our friend Josh, he said, I think the path forward is building here and learning this, and then making this a business and building for other people.
Yeah, that's the importance of documenting this journey too. I mean, this is we've been in the Web3 world. We've done several podcasts in the past. We've talked about the metaverse. We've talked about Vatum and all that good stuff. But now, just yesterday, being in that space really hit home. And being in the space, because I've explored that space on my own, but it's way different when you're with people in that space. And now it like really clicked for me, like, yeah, this is the move. So now it's just about documenting the journey. And I think this is the beginning of that. You know, talking about what we want to build and then documenting what we are building so that, you know, a few years down the line, when our community grows, you can see that, you know, we've actually built this thing and we know what we're talking about.
I think there's a lot of fear amongst business owners right now regarding AI, regarding the evolving world. They hear about the metaverse, they hear about the disruption AI is going to cause, but they don't really know. They don't even have time to like look into it. Like they're just kind of in the dark. And, you know, I think part of our responsibility as we begin to build in this and learn this platform is to really serve clients and onboard them into this space, because there will be two kinds of companies by the end of this decade. Those who have fully immersed themselves in artificial intelligence and those who are out of business.
Totally.
That's the words of Peter Diamandis, one of like the top minds of the
One
world.
of our mentors.
Yeah. And what I'm really excited about is helping onboard companies into this metaverse by
100%.
building our own metaverse space,
Yeah.
by demonstrating how we structure our NFTs, by showcasing how we use gamification and storytelling to create depth in our world, and how we use 3D funnels, right? Spatial funnels that are in the spatial web to guide people through an experience that it feels like it really serves them and that spikes their dopamine and like makes them feel like it's a video game and that pushes them towards our offers, right? I really am excited about AI sales.
Yeah, totally.
Right? We're going to be able to, in these metaverse spaces, embody artificial intelligence, right? So like they're not just programs that you go on and it's like an interface and you can type. It's an actual hologram character there with like that look like people.
Exactly.
And you can just have a conversation with them as if they were a human.
Yeah.
These AIs are going to do your sales. They're going to be really good at sales, and they're going to do all our sales. And you know, this is how AI begins to automate your business, which I really want to get into AI automation in business. But go ahead.
Right. Yeah, like right now, you know, I think we're seeing in like the world of funnel hacking and building funnels, that's still going to be a thing, but it's evolving. And right now, you can build a funnel that's working for you 24/7, right? The funnel's always up. If you always have traffic driving to that funnel, it's working for you. When you're asleep, it's working for you. I think it's going to be the same for these metaverse spaces, but I think they're going to be much more powerful Because rather than just people clicking through your funnel and seeing a video and perhaps they click, like these people are going to be able to go into your space and be met with, like you said, AI holograms. And these AI holograms you can train to educate your clients, give them experiences. They can serve as, like, if the consumer has questions, they can directly talk. So just imagine having a sales rep at a store that you built, that you don't pay. You make once and it works for you forever. And it's always tending to the clients. It doesn't matter how many people are in your store. This one AI can take care of all the people in your store. And if you program it to give the consumer an experience, and you can take them further and further through your funnel, and then through the use of token gating, which is basically like spaces that are off limits if you don't have a certain membership pass or whatever. Say you want to drive an action or drive a conversion, you can have this AI funnel them through it and get them to a point where this consumer is ready to buy because he's been through an indoctrination process. He's educated on on whatever product you're selling, and at the end, like everything, the emotions are so high that he buys because he felt served. That's where we're moving. It's pretty wild.
Yeah. This is where we get into the concept of EXO, right? Exponential
I
organization.
had the same thought.
It's an organization where using things like artificial intelligence, NFTs, social technologies like DAOs, and using media and content creation, you're going to be able to run a highly profitable, gargantuan company, potentially even $1 billion company, with 3 employees. The
Right.
rest of it being leveraged by AI.
Exactly.
Right.
And those AIs are employees. They're just not. They're
Yeah.
not on your W-2.
Exactly. You're going to be in your team meetings, and your AI sales manager, the guy who's like in charge of your sales director, is going to be, he's an AI, but he's in your team meeting with you, and you're talking to him, and he's listening, and he like goes and like executes because he has autonomy, and he's able to go and search the internet and make purchases, and code and improve itself. Like, this is the world we're entering. Now, one thing that really excites me is two things. Well, we all know that business is marketing and sales. These two things, the front end of your business and the back end, are totally automated by artificial intelligence. AI with sales, as we've discussed, what I'm really excited about is content creation that is fully automated.
Dude.
When you're in your virtual world, this is a digital space. So you can literally program anything. You can
Yeah.
code anything.
Yeah.
If you want to manipulate any aspect of your environment, you're able to do that. What I want to create, and this is a tool that we're probably going to sell as we code it, is virtual cameras, right? AI powered cameras that follow around the people who are in your space. Like, they automatically capture the conversations that are happening in your space.
That's a really,
Like,
really
let's
valuable
suppose
product.
there are 2,000 people in every corner of your space, and there's AI automatically recording every single interaction, processing it into actual valuable content, and automatically posting it. It's like you're live streaming, but your AI is constantly posting content through the use of virtual cameras. This is how you get infinite traffic and slam dunk, because your AI sales reps are
Right.
automatically going to sell your products for you.
Yeah, and this is very early on. I think, just imagine having access to Instagram or YouTube or Facebook before anyone knew about it, right? When Facebook was just for college students. What if you understood the idea of brand and building community before Facebook was Facebook? And that's essentially what we're seeing here is like these metaverse spaces are going to be a huge arbitrage opportunity. There's a gap in attention. I love Gary Vee's perspective that he day trades attention, right? He is so unbiased when it comes to platforms. If there is attention, he is there, It doesn't matter if it's TikTok and people are doing dances. He sees that, hey, there's a lot of eyes here and there isn't a lot of supply, so you can really go far with a piece of content that you make. And that's what we're seeing now. The first that enter the metaverse and start making content about the metaverse and start marketing their spaces and giving people value through the use of NFTs and beautiful experiences are going to win, and they're going to win big. Like, this is a new frontier that the brave, forward-thinking people are going to really fucking capitalize on. And I think being in the room yesterday with Josh, in that Vadim space was like, man, I think he even said, guys, we're early. And I'm like, yeah, we're freaking early, man. And I think one thing that amazes me is like guys like Peter Diamandis, Salim from OpenEXO, and Ray Kurzweil talking about this stuff like back in the day, man. Talking about IoT and NFTs,
I
Eric
really got the chills.
Pulier, like minting the first NFT. And that's what you see like Vadim, they've thought about this for a long time. A lot of these new metaverses, like they see an opportunity and they're jumping on it. But these guys, Eric Pulier was one of the first guys to mint an NFT. So he
He is
understood.
the first. He invented
Yeah.
NFTs.
So he under like it's his nature to make a company like this. Like and he like I'm going through the NFT Vadim experience. They have an NFT builder, they have a 3D space builder, they have a wallet, they have a marketplace. They have everything that we need for that, mass adoption movement. So that the enterprise and the local people, not just Web3 native people, but people who are on Facebook who don't know shit about Web3 can just adopt this technology without even knowing the guts of Web3. These guys know like it's going to take mass adoption, and these guys built it and they built it perfectly. And what amazes me is it's a sleeping giant, bro. Vadim is ready to go and nobody is building on it. It's insane.
And they're poised to dominate the market.
Dominate,
They
bro.
already have partnerships with Frito-Lay's, Pepsi Cola, all these massive companies, Nike, right? I don't know about Nike, but all these like Fortune 500 companies, and that's
Yeah.
powerful.
And there is one other company that, so Vadim, like there's layers, right? There's like the Ethereum layer, and then on top of that there's Block V, which is like another layer built on top of I believe Ethereum, and then Vadim built on top of Block V, and there's another company that also built on top of Block V, which is their competitor. And I've been going on their website and stuff, and they don't really have it like ready. Like it's very much like reach out to us and we'll help you build. Vadim is like plug and play. It's ready to go, dude. And their wallet is so effective already. Like just type in your phone number and there's your wallet.
Yeah, I think that the accessibility, right, and the interface moment, as Peter Diamandis says, is so crucial. Like, this is the beauty of Atom. If you can use Zoom, you can use Vadim, because they've literally made it the exact same interface. Like, it's intuitive, but now except for instead of 2D, it's 3D, and you can walk around and
Yeah.
explore these incredible spaces.
Right. Yeah. What they're allowing is for me to create NFTs very simply, and then give it to someone, and then they like you're gonna these people that what they're allowing is for people to have their first NFT ownership experience. And they don't need to know like the ins and outs of NFTs, but they're going to see what it feels like to own something in the digital space. And I feel like a lot of people are going to have that first experience with Vadim. They're going to be gifted an NFT. They're going to see their wallet and they're going to be like, "Whoa, oh, I understand it. Oh, this is ownership." It's actually very simple. And our minds are already poised and positioned to understand this type of concept. I mean, we live in a 3D space. We have objects, we have wallets, we have identity, I have an expression. It's just that these same concepts are just going into the digital world. So we're all very our nature already understands this. So it's going to be a very easy, intuitive experience for people. And I just want to give people the experience of what a 3D space is going to be like. Just imagine this is a 3D space, and Eric and I are actually holograms. It's going to be very much like that. And I've given Eric, say I'm the coder outside of this world, I gave Eric a specific set of instructions, and I gave him a very brief outline to talk about, and I gave Aaron a very specific brief outline to talk about, and I said, hey, have a conversation. And then we're here in a 3D space having a conversation, and we're actually
Our AIs are just talking, going at
yeah.
it.
And then this, like I said, people, us, places, a 3D space, and then things. Within these spaces, there's going to be objects. And if this is an NFT, well, I can then take this object and put it into my wallet. And now wherever I go, I now own this thing. And you can say, well, yeah, what's useful about that? But through the use of smart contracts, this can have utility. Like say I only made 10 of these, and whoever picked them up now has access to a space that only the people who own this item have access to. And let's just say that space was behind this wall, and like this was a portal, and I peeled back the layer and I saw that there was another world back there, and I tried to go through it. I tried to go into another space back there. But I wasn't allowed to because I didn't own this object. So it's
And that increases demand for your NFT, right? The price of that goes up. It's like there are certain emotional levers in business, right? Scarcity, things like fear, things like the purpose, and all these emotional levers. These things they're still the foundation of business, but now they transform. Now it's
Mm.
like, oh, the FOMO, I see the other world. I see my friends having fun in that other in that other layer above me. I can see them
Right.
in the 3D space, but I can't access it because I'm not an NFT holder.
Yeah.
Boom. You just created so much more demand for your
Right.
product. Well, just before you go on, you had mentioned that Vadim is going to kind of give the first NFT experience to users. If you're a business owner and you can give, and you're the first person to give that NFT experience, that AI, that ChatGPT experience to your customer, that is very valuable because they're going to associate you with that new technology. They're going to associate you with this mind-blowing, cutting-edge, evolution of the internet of business.
Totally. Yeah, it's exciting times, especially as a business owner, as someone who wants to build brand. It's like, man, this is amazing, and it just teaches me like we're always evolving. There's always going to be new technologies. There's always going to be the brave, forward-thinking few who see where the world is, where the puck is moving, and hop on those opportunities. Like right now, we're seeing Web3, and that's going to be the next big thing. Then there's going to be Web4, right? And that's going to be the next big thing. There's it just gives me this idea of this sense of abundance that
Yeah.
it doesn't matter where you are in evolution, there's always going to be a new place where the puck is moving, where attention is moving, where business is moving, and there's no scarce opportunity. Like there's an infinite number of opportunities, and you just kind of have to open your mind to what is possible. Now if you're listening to this and you're a business owner or someone who wants to build brand, like don't let this opportunity slip you by. This is a big opportunity. Like I said, imagine understanding Facebook and social media before anyone knew what the hell social media was. Imagine understanding brand building on YouTube before when YouTube was just like, I don't know, what YouTube was in 2001, if YouTube was around in 2001. Just major upsides from this next 5 to 10
Yeah,
years.
that's a very refreshing perspective, just kind of zooming out a little bit and thinking on the scale of 20 years. Like, you could drop everything in terms of Web 2 right now and like just go all in into metaverse stuff, and like you'll position yourself to really thrive in the next decade. And I think you do both. I think that you grow now and where the tension is now, but you also begin building in the metaverse because
Right.
they're not separate, right? It's like if we're building the metaverse, we're creating content and we're posting that content on the platforms that are
Right.
big right now, and you just kind of funnel people into the metaverse. Like our link in bio is not going to be a landing page; it's going to be a space. It's like
Right.
come explore our space.
Exactly. Yeah, it's no longer going to be this 2D funnel landing page. It's going to be a landing space. And I'm not going to, if someone lands on my landing funnel 3D space, they're going to be greeted. They're going to feel welcomed. They're going to be given something in exchange for their presence. And it's more symbiotic. It's more give and then take. And right now what we're seeing is just purely take. So it's pretty awesome. It allows for, you know, value unlocking. We can unlock so much more value and give people so much more value. And I think I want to touch on what Vadim did with like Doritos. I believe was Doritos during the World.
Frito-Lays.
Yeah, during the World Cup, they placed a bunch of QR codes on basically everywhere they could during the World Cup, and a bunch of people went around scanning QR codes, and they were gifted their first NFT. And this NFT allowed people to upload a photo and be part of this massive collective art project. So everyone over the course of the World Cup uploaded their photo, and then at the end, this giant mass mural, which was this soccer ball with everyone's face, was displayed on the soccer ball. And it gave people a sense of like collaboration. They felt served because they were given something, they were given an opportunity, and the statistics that resulted from that experience, Frito-Lay got so many new customers that they were never going to have in the first place because of this giving, this unlocking their the NFTs allowed. It allowed them to give their consumers something in exchange for their data. And I'm not sure exactly what the numbers were, but in comparison to just like a normal ad campaign, which cost a much more for the amount of data they got, compared to this NFT deployment tactic campaign that they did, it was like the cost was much lower for the amount of data that they got back. It was just insane. It was staggering. And at the end of the day, people felt served rather than, exploited.
Right. It's beneficial in more ways than one, right? Because what NFTs allow is a more symbiotic relationship between the brand and your customers, where it's a permission-based marketing, right?
Yes,
You're not
exactly.
just like siphoning off their data because you bought it from some third-party source. Nobody likes that. Nobody resonates with that. Instead, you're giving me something of value, the ability to participate in this art project. You're giving me ownership of this NFT now, because like, oh, this art project that are limited. Only the people who are participated have it. And yeah, as a result, their return on ad spend was like through the roof. They spent way less, got way more data and eyes, and the engagement was like 20 times what it would be on a shitty ad. Right?
Right.
Nobody cares about an ad. Everybody, we're numb to that. But
Right.
this was new. This was exciting. This was novel. This felt good, and you know that just goes to show it's like this isn't an option, right? The economic levers are simply going to force
Yeah.
people to adopt this technology.
Not an option. Exactly. One thing that also excites me about NFTs is like this idea of state change, where just say for example, you did your I launched an NFT campaign and 50 people I made 50 of these NFTs and 45 of them got rid of them, sold them, gave them away. But then 5 really loyal customers kept them. And in 10 years I made or just in a month I made those 5 few loyal customers that didn't get rid of their NFT. I now made that NFT more valuable because it unlocked something. Maybe it unlocked a perk, maybe it unlocked a coupon, maybe it unlocked access to a space that only those select few that kept that actual NFT. So it allows business owners to reward their consumers. Pretty awesome.
Yeah, yeah. I'm really excited to for us to build, an example for other business owners to be able to come in and realize like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, I can see how I can put my products here. I can see how my services can be sold here, and for them to be like, wow, this is the evolution. This is the next big thing.
Yeah.
I am really excited by going back to it, right? Automated content creation at scale, right? Where an AI is constantly creating content around the people who are in your space, right? Automatically editing it, automatically distributing it, bringing in yet more eyes, more traffic into your space, embodied there. Their attention's not going anywhere. They are there. There's so much more momentum of attention.
Oh, yeah.
Like they're not just on TikTok where they're going to scroll past your video. They're in your space, right?
Right.
So much energy to harness if you have the right systems, the right generators to harness that
Yeah.
electricity, if you would. So you have that content creation, automating traffic generation, and then you have sales reps. Then you have experiences and products that like for us, what I really envision is like, creating a space where business owners can come and experience the metaverse the first time.
Yeah.
And really see how they're going to experience our AI rep, and they're going to be sold by our AI rep because the offer is like, hey, you can do this too for whatever your offer is, right? And this is how you automate sales,
Yeah.
you automate marketing, and your costs go to zero, and your profits and scalability goes
Totally.
to the moon.
Yeah, and our goal with building this, for potential for business owners right now is to give you the experience, maybe it's going to be the first time you ever have that experience, and it's all these concepts that we're throwing around will finally make sense because having the actual experience of being in a 3D space and picking up a digital item and owning it and seeing what an NFT is like and the wallet experience, you can finally understand what it's like, and it's all going to click for you. And what we hope to do is provide to you like common practices and a system that you can model Because the thing is, with this is it's kind of like the Wild West. Like nobody knows what common practice is. So we don't really know what systems work yet. We don't really know what the right path is. So we want to just offer you a path that you can model, and that's kind of what our focus is now, is just building this experience so that you can walk into what we are talking about.
Yeah, and I think first and foremost is just playing with it. Like,
Big time.
we have to take our time with this. It's we're very early. We're ahead of the game. People are probably not going to catch on on this for like,
Some years.
I don't know. The world's so crazy right now. I don't want to say like it could be 6 months. It could be 2 years, but I'm thinking like 5 years before people start to really mass adopt it.
Yes.
So the priority right now is playing it, building it,
Yes.
build community, build experiences, build offers, build
Right.
products, build AI sales reps in
Yeah.
there, build a virtual camera system that automates content creation, and then sell those systems, right?
Yeah.
And then allow business owners to model the exact same process
Totally.
and 100x their business and 100x minus x their costs.
Yeah. One of the reason why I'm so excited about Vadim is, it's similar to what Apple did with the App Store. Like they didn't just make apps in-house and then deploy apps. What they did is they built the platform. So and then they incentivized developers to come and build on their platform and build apps within the App Store. So they gave them like the building blocks, like, hey, here's an interface so you can develop and understand how to build on our platform. Avadim is doing the same thing. Like they have an interface for developers so that they can build tools and build spaces, and it incentivizes developers to come and build within Vadim. And Vadim has the marketplace, right, where you can go and buy NFTs, but you can also buy tools and applications that developers built on their own behalf. And they're incentivized to build within this place because, I mean, they get a cut of any sale that comes from the tool they build. So that's one of the reasons why the App Store was so successful, and I think that's why we'll see why Vadim is so successful.
Wow.
You incentivize the builders, and the people will come.
Really powerful. Yeah, I absolutely love that. And this gets into the idea of incentives, right? Providing financial incentives for people to build on your platform, as Vadim and Apple did. And what I'm really excited about, and I think what we're starting to get glimpses of, is our guild, right? Our DAO, our elite, agile, sleek team of killers who are specialized in whatever they're
Totally.
specialized in, who want to build with us,
Yeah.
want to come build with us. Like we have our friend Josh, our friend Salik, like we have, different people who are not tech savvies, who are breathwork coaches and
Right.
who are, who want to hold space and who want to inspire people. And we have friends who are DJs and who want to come in and entertain, right? And like this is how, first and foremost, I think you build a guild and empower everybody who wants to build to like, come on, like it's an
Totally.
abundant fucking world. There's literally infinite energy, and the more we can, get out of this scarcity mindset, right, and be more like organisms in an ecosystem where it's like, oh, look around, bro. There's like infinite energy. Look, the sun is like infinite energy. We can just build systems together and harness it and like create beautiful food forests that sustain all of us.
Yeah, man. What you said, infinite energy, reminds me of like what Peter Diamandis said. It's like it's not a resources problem. There is no scarce resource. It's a conversion problem. Like there's infinite energy from the sun. It's not that there isn't energy. It's that we can't convert that energy into usable energy. And I mean, AI, robots, all that stuff is just going to unlock that energy. It's going to be, we're going to be able to access so much more energy. And dude, we saw this video the other day too, and the guy said it so well. It was like everything that we see is just the energy from the sun being converted into a human civilization, and it allows for access to marketplaces and ecosystems. So it's like it's all about the energy that comes from the sun, and all of these technologies are just going to allow for more extraction of energy in a cleaner, more efficient way.
Yeah, and there's literally infinite energy. Can we switch seats? Because my neck's hurting from looking
Yeah.
this way.
Let's see if we're still rolling, eh?
I think we are.
We are.
I have hella storage. Oh, that's better.
That's such a fucking awesome perspective,
Yeah, I know.
Realizing what the root of it is.
And then we get to things like Planck energy, which is like there is more energy in a cubic centimeter of space-time than all of civilization has used in all its history.
Insane.
And like it's just a matter of extraction, being able to access that.
Right.
That's literally like the potential energy of the universe itself. And like, to get kind of philosophical, it's like we're going into the virtual world, we're going into this dimension. It's going to be photorealistic. We're going to develop Neuralink and brain computer interface.
Just approved, right? FDA just approved it for
Yeah,
human trials.
Neuralink is going to have FDA human trials, right? For things like paralysis and stuff, but the gaming market is powerful,
Ooh,
like
man.
we can talk about the horror experience we had yesterday.
Yeah.
But who's to say this hasn't already happened, and like
Yeah.
we didn't already descend into a metaverse, into a world that is virtual, right? And I think that it ties into the perspective of non-duality and idealism, where everything is consciousness. Like, suppose you are in a virtual experience, and this virtual experience is fed directly into your central nervous system through BCI. What is the world made out of?
Light.
Light, your own
Ones and
awareness,
zeros.
your own imagination, consciousness. Everything is consciousness, and physical reality is just like a kind of an illusion around that. And we're even seeing that at the bottom of physics. It's like you can't find matter.
Yeah.
It just opens up into nothingness.
Totally. Like the statistics, right, are it's more likely that we're in a simulation or some sort of experience, right? Because the math is just like the fact that this is the odds that this is base reality is just like not. It's just it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But
Exciting.
dude, I used to think, yeah, but like a simulation, like we're so far off, like in order, it doesn't make sense that we're in a simulation. But then now that we see like, no, like you said, you can feed data into your freaking central nervous system is not that far off. It's like, okay, if it's happening now, it's likely already happened. But yeah, I mean, we're entering this digital space where there are no limits. And just imagine when it is, you don't need some device over your eyes to experience it. And like you said, it's fed directly into your central nervous system. So if you put your hand over a candle, you feel it. Like, and there is no limits in that space. Who's to say? You're going to become confused? Like, what is reality? And what happens when there's a toggle switch or like the safety mode that you can take off, where it's like, I'm going to choose to forget that I even entered a virtual space? Then we're kind of just in the similar experience we are now. And what if you forget that you're in a digital space and there is free reign and you can fly, but you took off safety mode and you purposely forgot, and you put limits on yourself, and then you realize, oh wait. So I also want to touch on this. Like, we have limits, right? At least we think we have limits, and we're bound by the laws of physics. That is about to end. We just unlocked a new level. And I used to think that, before we could bend physics, we're going to have to understand science, we have to understand consciousness, and we got to manipulate the physical world. But then I realized, I realized that you don't have to unlock this physical dimension. You can create a digital dimension that you can embody yourself in, and using ones and zeros and using light, you can program whatever experience you want. If you want to fly, if you want to build a giant, racetrack, if you want to embody yourself in World War 20 and get into that simulation and experience like some war, you can do that, because we're no longer bound by the laws of physics within the digital space. It's really insane, man. Infinity has opened up to us. We can now explore infinity.
And this is where it gets very spiritual and mystical.
Big
It's like,
time.
this is the karmic cycle. This is the fall from grace.
Yes.
This is humanity once again, and I just got the chills, descending into the world.
Yeah.
And going back down. And it's like we're in no utopia right now, right? This isn't a Garden of Eden, but it seems like infinity just keeps getting deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. And we're about
To no avail.
we're about to enter it. The track's gonna start spinning much faster. We're gonna start dilating time. We're gonna forget that we were ever human.
Yeah.
We're gonna incarnate as these creatures that think they are finite and mortal.
Right.
And we'll end up exactly where we are right now.
Yeah.
Human souls pretending to be human.
Yeah. It's wild, man. And I have this like sense of fracturing, right? Like, even like with DAOs, we're seeing it with TikTok, right? Like, attention itself used to be very concentrated, and there was like with the type of algorithm, which was a social algorithm, I only saw content from those that I followed. But now it's moved from a social graph where it's like where Facebook was back in the day or Instagram was back in the day where I only saw content from those that I followed. It moved to an interest graph, which is like what TikTok is and what we're seeing all these other platforms adopt, like YouTube Shorts. It's now what my interests are. If I like fishing, the algorithm is going to reflect what I like, and it's going to show me content about fishing from people who aren't in my social demographic. I see content from new creators every day because they're making fishing content. And that goes to show how we've kind of fractured into our interests. Like it went from a very concentrated, centralized attention economy to a more like decentralized. It's about your interests. It's about what you like. And then that's only going to extend. We're going to go further into like these niches. It's like humanity is fracturing into these niches and people are going to go into like their own version of infinity. Like if I'm really into fishing, I'm going to embody myself in like some fishing experience and I'm going to go into that fully and immerse myself. And whatever your interests are, say you like race car driving, you're going to immerse yourself fully into race car driving. And
It's incredible, man.
yeah, and then you're going to see like through the use of DAOs, communities based upon interests and purposes. Like I want to build permaculture, homesteading, alternative lifestyle systems, dwelling close to the land. Through the use of DAOs, I can attract other people and give them ownership and build these micro communities where we all have the same interests. And we kind of fracture. It just becomes more decentralized, and we're going further into the fractal. It feels like very esoteric, but I can't help but feel that.
Absolutely. This is, I loved how we just transitioned straight from business into, the mystical, the esoteric, the universe. And, something that just came up is like, I don't need to be only part of one DAO. I can be part of
Right.
so many different communities. Like I can be part of your homesteading, down to earth animals, like very grounded, very earthen, like DAO, so that I can have my feet on the ground, and I can also like have my entrepreneur DAO where I'm like traveling the world with people who I like, my friends, and like we live a dope lifestyle, and we have friends and experiences and restaurants and all this good stuff. And then in the middle, we can meet in the middle. It's like we have interaction
Right.
and like our online community and building DAOs and helping people transition into the metaverse. And like, we're on the cusp. We're showing people about what the next evolution of human civilization, of indeed humans' consciousness is.
Yeah, man, we're living through history. We're undergoing a quantum leap. I think
Yeah,
for the
the
last,
quantum leap, man. That's it.
and it kind of ties into like Ray Dalio, and I forget who coined the term, but like turnings, right? Every 70 years there's a turning. And right now we're entering the fourth turning, which is like marked by times of turmoil and chaos and a huge transfer of power, right? Like America came into the power 3 turnings ago, and then every 70 years or so, like there's another turning and another turning, and then the fourth turning, it's like okay, that power goes to something else, goes to someone else, and it it all makes sense, like what we're seeing, turmoil in Ukraine, Israel just happened, um, NFTs, DAOs, like it's all pointing to this like next evolution, this next phase that we're going to take. And we were talking about this yesterday, humans with our limited capabilities and our, RES always focusing on the negative because it's how we survived, we tend to extrapolate out the bad things. And we think like, well, yeah, bad things are bad right now. Apocalypse. It's the only solution. It's the only logical answer. But we fail to account for innovation in technologies. We fail to account for shifts in culture, and it fills that gap. And like we avoid apocalypse. And sure, there's times of chaos and turmoil, but prosperity comes in the end. And yeah, it's going to be a period of absolute abundance after this short period of chaos.
Yeah, and it seems like the turmoil comes from transitioning from scarcity to abundance. Like, we see this in the microcosm of an individual life. You can be entering abundance and like you can sabotage yourself, right? Self-sabotage because you have that mindset of scarcity that affects your behaviors on a unconscious level and causes you to self-sabotage. There is infinite energy out there, but perhaps humanity is still evolving. Its consciousness is still expanding, and this scarcity model, this fear model, is something that we need to get over. And we are at adolescence, and we are maturing and entering adulthood. And you know, right now, like yeah, a lot of people are going to lose their jobs, but and there's going to be upheaval, but it's going to result in an abundance world where the costs of goods and services goes to the floor and everybody is able to live a life of abundance.
Yeah. And with that comes a whole like restructuring of values. Especially in the Western world, we value productivity. What happens when when everything doesn't cost much and you know jobs aren't really a thing anymore? We have to re-educate ourselves from the ground up. And what do we value? We're gonna have to value just like creativity and love and abundance and empathy and all of these like soft skills, that have been put on the back burner because we've been such a logically productivity driven society. That's all going out the window, and we're going to become a very more like it's going to be creativity. It's going to be do what you love, find your passion, and it's going to be tough for people. But I don't know. There's a poet, and Jordan Peterson quotes him a lot, who says, "We don't have to let ourselves die. We can let our ideas die." And that's what we're seeing. Is like it feels like we're dying because it is a psychological death, and we're letting go a big part of us, but it's just our ideas dying, and it gives room for new ideas, new growth, new opportunities. It's like let me see.
Low power, but
Yeah, we're good. We still have 50 minutes.
cool.
Like access to energy, there's infinite energy. For example, before fire, we were eating plants and grubs and small insects. We didn't eat animals because we couldn't just eat raw meat,
I
right?
think we would eat raw meat actually, but fire allowed us to cook it, and it
Extract more energy.
more nutrition, and then
Exactly.
that's curious because like that's technology, right?
Exactly, fire technology.
And then we enter this period of encephalization, which is like rapid brain growth over the course of, they think, 1,000 years. Our brain, I think it's 1,000 years. I want to say it's 1,000 years. Our brain, like our frontal cortex, doubled in size.
Yeah.
And they think they attribute that to like meat eating and
Yeah.
eating cooked meat.
One thing that fascinates me, like you talked about the rapid brain growth, and down to our like reptilian brain, which is like the first layer of the brain, and we talk a lot about the increasing of complexity within organisms, and for example, like the jump from prokaryotes to eukaryotes, and really fascinated by that transformation. And we see that with our brain, right? We had like the reptilian brain and then the mammalian brain, and then as we evolve, we added on more layers to our brain, and the most recent of these additions have been the frontal lobe, which kind of connects us into 3D space, gives us reasoning, logic, communication, really higher level stuff. And I used to think like, well, evolution's so slow, like, when are we going to adopt another, it's like, but evolution's taking place, it's just happening digitally, and we already have we already have a new brain. It's called servers. They're just not biological. They exist outside of us, but we're exploring those spaces, and it gives us access to another dimension. Just like this plugs us into 3D reality. Yeah. The servers and the internet is our brain. It's part of our brain. I mean, if you look at it, it's a neural network, and we're already using it to explore the digital space. Like, we already evolved our brain. We already have another layer on top of the logical frontal lobe. We have the freaking servers and the internet, and it's only a matter of time before we jump a level and we go into the digital.
And if you have doubts that is the next layer of the human brain, just wait until everybody has Neuralink and some brain-computer interface. It's like, yeah, okay, now you're feeding digital data, straight into your CNS. Welcome to the evolution of life on Earth.
Man, I mean, just ponder that right now. Just imagine you just got Neuralink yesterday. CNS, like it's
you have access to all this fucking information.
You have access to infinity, man. And I guess it's only limited to our imagination, right? And how fast you can build. But someone's gonna build something like ChatGPT, where you can like prompt it, build me a Hot Wheels racetrack that is human size that I can play, and I'm playing with elephants. I'm racing against elephants.
And you just think it.
Yeah.
You see it in your mind.
Boom, it just like it manifests. So now the only limit becomes creativity. The only limit becomes like, what can I imagine? And that's why I said
It's a dream world.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I say when I mean like we're gonna need to revalue, recreate our values. Like right now we value productivity, but in a world where it's not about how fast you can build, but how creative you can be, things like creativity and imagination become much more valuable. So the artists are going to win in that dimension. You're going to be able to build insane worlds.
Yes. And the artist is no longer the technical know-how for designing or coding or building something, because all of that becomes outsourced by greater technology. The artist becomes that which is at R equals zero, that which is you. It's like it's not one step beyond you, which is your own imagination, right? That is you, right? Your own consciousness, and that becomes the nexus, the core, that allows you to build everything else. Like you just outsource everything else, everything necessary to manifest something. You know, you have a fucking idea, and the you just see it in your mind, and the AI automatically like reads your brain waves. This is already technology that's happening, you
Yeah.
know, and it goes and it buys from the internet and it hires other AIs and it codes a certain tool and buys a certain tool and it just manifests it and creates.
Yeah.
And this is where we just begin exploring imagination. We just
Totally.
begin exploring human consciousness as these unphysical beings. This has already happened. You know, we are exploring a dream in God's mind, God being that transcendent figure that is beyond space and time.
Yeah. It's insane, man. And I want to tie it back down to business.
Yeah, let's talk about business. I want to
Yeah.
bring
I want to tie
home
it back because I was going to get into like,
symbolism and
psychology,
shit.
physical, Carl Jung, mythology, which is awesome stuff. But for the business owner, I mean, we kind of just painted the macro, right? We went from the micro NFTs, talked about the nitty gritty, and then we talked about like the greater vision, where we're going, the next step in evolution. I hope that shows you and gives you perspective as far as like where we're moving as a civilization so that it can inform your decision on the micro. If you like examining the macro gives you perspective on the micro because it allows you to make decisions that are well informed because you know where you're going on the ultimate level. You know that like as a humanity we're evolving, we're unlocking levels, and it just allows you to make a better decision now, hopefully from a place of abundance rather than scarcity, so that when you build, don't just build because it's like, oh, I'm going to save bucks here, or, and I understand that's probably as a business owner, yes, you have to save bucks, but understand where the puck is moving and let that inform your decisions and start to remodel your plan to accommodate for this growth that's about to happen.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is going all into AI, right? It's like Peter Diamandis says, I think it was Mo Gadot. No, not Mo. Ahmed Mustak,
Ahmed Mustak, yeah.
founder of Stable Diffusion. He says, in response to the question, what would you tell 20-year-olds right now? Drop everything and learn AI. This is the biggest opportunity of our generation and indeed possibly of our entire human history. This is going to disrupt the world more severely than fire did. And this is crucial for staying on track, you know, with being a business and like being a business owner. You have to integrate these new technologies because you will simply not be able to compete with those who do. Those who do outsource their sales reps to zero cost, infinitely better AI reps. Those who outsource their content creation to virtual camera systems that are powered
Hopefully
by
our
AI.
tool.
Yeah,
Hopefully,
our
yeah.
tool, exactly.
Yeah.
That automatically captures this content and edits it and distributes it. The future belongs to those who leverage gamification and NFTs and who create DAOs that actually empower their employees rather than oppress them. The future belongs to those who go all in into virtual reality and begin to treat it as reality, not as some separate thing that is like different. It's like this is the evolution of
It is
civilization. And so play around, enter these spaces, you know, explore, build, meet people, and embrace it. And I think that there's no reason to fear. If we embrace this change and like experiment with it, then you will be protected. You will be okay. You will win.
Yeah, and move from a place of abundance. Like you said, it's not about an access to resources, it's a conversion problem, infinite energy. So when you move from a place of abundance, you can stay open-minded. Fear closes you off. You're going to think short term. You're going to look at just the micro. You're going to get stuck. You're going to make decisions from a scarcity mindset, and that's just going to lead to scarcity results. Stay abundant, stay open, realize like there's so much out there. There's going to be so much room for everyone. and I think you'll see that it'll reflect, and you'll have just much more opportunities on your plate. I'm really excited about building that tool, bro.
Yeah,
And
same. That's the most high leverage thing.
I think that
And sales reps.
yeah, the the stack of people that are gonna win in this new economy is the content creator, the CEO, the crypto, and the blockchain guy, and AI guy. If you have like an AI, crypto, blockchain guy, plus like a, forward thinking macro guy, you have a products guy, like that's the
That's
winning
it.
stack right there.
Yeah.
And I think we
Wow.
have that. We've been asking the universe for so long. Like I think Eric and I are very much like, like CEO types. We understand where the puck's moving. We want to build. We have the vision for what we want to build. But there were some technical skills we had. We had some gaps. And we just came into acquaintance with people who have those skills, a skill gap, who also are forward thinking, who also see the vision like we do. And I think building that guild is just freaking exciting because this idea of having cameras in 3D space that edits everything and that outputs it for you automatically is like, that's a game changer.
Yeah, it drives me to produce and to build together and to empower each other because, like, yeah, I feel like we specialize in different things and it's like together we can create a billion-dollar business that has a powerful product stack that leverages AI to automate its marketing and that creates these embodied artificial intelligences that actually do the selling for you. Your entire business is automated
You can
with
create a
this new tech.
system that you could just walk away from and it does it on its own. It's
Yeah,
autonomous.
exactly.
Fucking A. Build it once and it sells forever. So, okay.
Yeah, and that's where these technologies become imperative, right? And that's how you build a good offer. We've been asking for a good offer. Like our offers have sucked ass because we've just been stuck at a certain level of value providing, Yeah, I can talk about creating your reality. I can talk about believing in yourself, right? But that's low level self-improvement, right? I want to help people get real results and by actually building something. And I think that if you are a business owner and you walk into a space that demonstrates to you just how crucial having an AI sales rep is and just how powerful this automated content creation system and distribution is, it's a no-brainer that you're going to drop $25,000 in order to get the system for your own business
Right.
because what's the alternative? You don't move forward, you don't integrate the technologies, and you're left behind.
Yeah, and if you have a service that it's the difference between you being able to stay in the market and stay, in the marketplace and collect money and be a business or die, what's the value of that? I mean, you can charge whatever you want because it's the difference between them making money in the future and what's the upside to someone's business? Billions of dollars if they continue for the next 100 years.
Yeah, and I
Like
think
you
that's
could
where
charge $1 million. You can charge whatever you want.
exactly, bro. And I love how you're thinking big. It's like we can do whatever the fuck we want in this world. If we have indeed already done this for infinity, like we're eternal beings, right? To get back into the esoteric, let's provide value not just for the small business owner. We should do that too. But this system is something that any billion-dollar company, Coca-Cola, Frito-Lay, Pepsi,
Can use,
yeah,
man.
they can automate their content creation. They can create deeper engagement with their customers and they can promote their products in a much more impactful and profitable way.
Facts, man. It's really fucking awesome
Yeah,
stuff.
this is how you build a billion-dollar business. It's like you have it's that EXO, right? The coder, you have the CEO, you have the content creator, marketer who understands like people, and you can really just take it
Plus AI.
to the moon. Yeah, it's like three people can build a billion-dollar business right now
Right.
because of this tech.
Yeah, it's like it's no longer brick and mortar. It's all built on light. It's all
Light.
Shopify and SaaS and subscription models and this idea that if someone has our webcam system set up where it edits for them, they get access to it if for infinite amount of content, right? But they pay $45 for access to infinity. essentially. And that's what, the OpenEXO guys talk, Salim and Peter Diamandis, is like you get subscription to it's an abundance model, and you get subscription and access to abundance. Like Spotify, there's no cap on how many songs you can listen to. You pay a flat rate and you get access to infinite music.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. So we talk about abundance mindset, right? One thing that does seem scarce to me is attention. It's like, yeah, you can have all these infinite worlds and infinite real estate in the digital world and like all these infinite funnels, but there's only a certain amount of attention,
Yeah.
right? And people that can actually go through these systems and that you can, you know, transfer or convert into revenue for your business, is that a finite resource or is that something that we can actually create more of?
I think you can create more of it. I think one, there's always new opportunities, right? Spaces, it's like attention arbitrage. There's going to be a new platform, and there's going to be a low supply of content and a high demand, and it's attention arbitrage, like Gary Vee talks about. But also, I mean, what happens when I can deploy an AI to go and consume for me? What if there's autonomous AIs in the world that are consuming content? Like, you just created a whole new domain of people who are consuming attention, who are giving attention and consuming data.
And purchasing and, you know, they're
Exactly.
participating in the marketplace.
It's like we're creating a new species, and they're gonna have their needs as well, and
And they're going to have their revolutions and protests as well.
exactly. Yeah, I don't think they'll be a perfect species. They'll be much smarter than us. It's like, I feel like we're chimps talking about humanity. It's like chimps kind of,
What can those create, bro? What can they create? They can create
man.
anything.
Yeah, what a chimp is not going to be like, well, I think they're going to create like LA, and they're going to create New York, and they're going to create jets and Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. Like they're like, well, fucking they're going to have a lot of bananas, ton of bananas, and like, dude, so many bananas they're going to have. And like that's how they think. And like that's what we're doing right now. But there's just going to be access to new levels. And I think there's going to be an opportunity to jump. Like there's going to be like factions and like groups of people. There's going to be the people who are like Amish type, who choose to not put Neuralink in. There's going to be the people who integrate and become cyborgs. And then there's going to be like the pure AI that has nothing to do with biology. It's going to be like base level humans, human 2.0 who integrates with cyborg type stuff. And there's going to be pure AI. So it's like we're going to have access to those dimensions.
Yeah, earlier we mentioned having one of your AI team members, like let's say your sales manager or sales director, participating in your team calls, right? It's like you have, yeah, person, AI, right? These are all specialized AIs that handle a particular part of your business, and they listen in on the conversation, they hear the information, they have autonomy, and they go take action items and go purchase things, and they go research. And yeah, I think the answer is yeah, we're going to be able to create new attention because AIs also have attention and they feed back to their own companies and they make their own decisions. So like you're going to have, let's say that sales director AI deploy his, 100 million AIs, little smaller AIs, to go and explore all the content in the world and listen in on every live stream in the world and read every article and make purchasing decisions and participate in the marketplace. And so it is a truly abundant world. Attention isn't even finite.
Right. Yeah, let me see what we're at if we still have yeah, we're good. Like
Hella storage.
I value like Eric said, the ground a lot. Like we moved to Missouri, we bought land out here. I'm going to focus on raising animals. I'm even taking up a carpentry apprenticeship so that I can learn hard skills because I know that we're entering this digital infinite, renaissance. But there's still going to be a place on Earth, right? Earth is still going to exist. Food is still going to matter. And I want to be able to ride the AI wave and the digital wave from a place that's secure and stable, and I can grow my own food. And because I know there's going to be some turmoil and chaos in the interim between here and abundance. So it's like I want to be able to explore these infinite worlds, but I want to be able to unplug and like have access to a beautiful space. Like, oh yeah, I have my sauna and I have my chickens and my goats and my cow, and I milk cow in the evening. And I'm actually building a beautiful shed. I'm building a tiny home. Like I still very much value that. But it's really nice to have your ground established so that you can explore these higher dimensions. A lot of people are going to become this idea of like the low life, the high tech low life, where like perhaps they live in a fucking one by one, like they're just like in a fucking shithole, and they're
That's so
exploring
sad,
these
man.
crazy spaces, but like their physical place is just shitty,
Yeah,
and I
man.
want both.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. Yeah, and it's like being able to have the ground while exploring those higher dimensions, right? It's like, the chakras or whatever. The move is being in a rural place with good ass Wi-Fi.
Some
It's
Neuralink
like, yeah,
or
you
some
you have
Starlink.
your you're safe. You're away from the coasts. You're kind of insulated, but you're also very on the offense.
Right. Exactly. And I can't help but feel like, and I mean, I was in that place just a few months ago where it's like you're renting, you're living paycheck to paycheck, you're buying all your food from the grocery store. And then what happens when, just like radical transformation, you, it's like this idea of the wave, the wave got there and you didn't have a surfboard and you're just kind of getting taken by the wave. And like you're barely keeping your head above water. You're like freaking, you're in the foam and you're like getting tumbled. And a lot of people are like, the wave is coming. And it's like, do you have a surfboard to ride the wave? Or are you going to get taken by the wave and be like a byproduct and just get demolished by the wave, get used by the wave? Like, there's this massive influx of energy. And this energy, you can either ride this energy by getting your skills up and building this like sophisticated surfboard, or the energy is just gonna fucking move through you and take you. It's like I'm gonna ride this wave rather than let this wave just fucking take
Ride
me.
you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's the importance of like raising your level of consciousness, and like what I mean by that, it's like expanding your perception. The top performers in this world, they're not any smarter than you necessarily, unless we're talking about Elon. They simply have expanded their perception. They live in an entirely different realm of possibility.
Right.
They see things that nobody else sees. And that just takes experience, it takes education. And so I think prioritizing your self education, learning from people who have insight, reading voraciously, like listening to podcasts, getting around the top thinkers so that you can, take those golden nuggets of information. That is how you stay ahead. It's either you do that or there's no remorse for you. You're going to be punished by the universe, and it's upheaval, it's earthquake, it's clashing of these tectonic plates. The world's changing, and
Yeah.
we have to get ahead.
Life is like it increases in intensity. It feels like the line moves up, and the line is always moving, and there's always a push to evolve. There's always a push for growth, and like the line moves, and you either stay above the line and like increase your intensity, or the line just takes you. And that's why we see like some species die off, some species don't make it, some don't reproduce because there's a line and there's like a certain intensity of that you must live
Right.
life at.
Yeah, and I think that chaos does that, right? When there's an upheaval, when there is a transformation, people die, right? Things break. But at the same time, let's talk about the poverty line, right? The poverty line is just diminishing. It's just getting, it's getting, I guess it would be higher, right? It's getting higher and higher, higher. I don't know. What I'm trying to say is that poverty is becoming eliminated and people are getting more educated.
Right.
And so, yeah, there is chaos, but at the same time, there's so much more access to food and water and shelter and education and all that good stuff. So it's like, yeah, you're going to be left behind for now in the short term, right? Things are going to get bad in the short term, but ultimately, uh, more intelligence yields more economic productivity and better quality of life for everybody on Earth.
Facts. This was awesome.
Yeah, this has been really good. I mean, this is the path.
Totally.
Metaverse building, building our own thing, and then, helping others do the same thing.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Love you, bro.
Love you too, man.
Cheers.
Cheers.
See you guys.
That was dope.
That's fire.
Fire.